I'm back with another bang bang banger. This story time is going to be about how I got tricked into a group home. I have to remember the topic because it's a lot to go into this story. Y'all, how to keep up was a lot that went into it, so I had to remember a lot. So bear with me, okay? I was 15 with a 2-year-old, y'all. You can only imagine how hard school was for me. How hard high school especially, and like I got peeled away from all my friends because you know how you lottery into a school, but the next school year the lottery don't accept you. Oh my gosh, the lottery didn't accept me that next year, so like I kind of got like left, but like, oh my gosh, it's lemon, but it's a lumpy one, so it's like hard to cut. I lotteried into a school for 3 years, along with the bumpy roads of me being removed during the 8th grade year and then put back again. It was bumpy, unstable. Once I had my daughter, got cut away from all my friends, except for a few that were from like the more hood neighborhoods. I can say I was surrounded by the hood, but my mom kept me far separated from, protected, very sheltered, very, very sheltered. Few or whatever, I'm really about to go to work and everything. Transformer. This angle is so fire. Yeah, I love this angle. Y'all just don't pay attention to my jacket. My hair for y'all, did everything for y'all, period. I did it all for y'all. And it was all for y'all. It was all for y'all. These times are times where I tried to block out of my mind a series of people. What should I do for my next story time? And I know y'all want another love song. But that'll be in my next video. This one right here. I was doing my daughter's hair this morning, y'all. Don't mind me. I just want to thank God. I made it through a lot of stuff he could get me through, and it was like his favor was still on me, even though I was just going through so much and I needed so much help. And it was like he was there for me, even though it took me to get to that point. He was still there. His grace and his mercy and his love is so much greater than anything I could be going through. But it's like every time I hop on this camera, my throat get dry. Like, what do y'all be doing to my throat to make it dry? Yo, I had a cutting board, okay? I was going to this high school that I didn't want to go to in the first place. I knew it was going to be hell because my brother went there when he was growing up, and he told me about how somebody stole his J's, everything. I know Mifflin High School or whatever, then y'all know. Okay? It wasn't a good time for me at all. So, you know, because I'm in 9th grade. So this is my first year of high school. Not all of my friends are going to the schools like further up north in the nicer neighborhoods, which I enrolled in, but they didn't accept me. This new early morning stuff is not for me. I had the mindset like I'm gonna keep my head in the game. I'm gonna do this for my daughter. You know, I'm going through a little bit of postpartum depression still at this point because it was untreated when I first had my daughter. So it's untreated, and I went untreated all this time. Summer before I went to high school, I actually had a job at a daycare, and my childhood friends, like I seen my childhood friends, but like my childhood friends, like I'm talking about like 3 years old. Went through postpartum depression, but I'm trying to overcome it by saying I'm going to get my work done in the school year. So like as like a month go past, maybe 2 months go past, things are not looking so good for me. Work was beginning to be too much, and I was falling asleep in class due to having to take care of a 2-year-old when I get out of school. Also my mom was working like really late, so she got off the last bus at night, so I get up and I go walk my daughter in her stroller, or you know, over to like her bus stop, you know, to make sure that she don't have to walk home alone because she's an older woman. My mom had me late. Like she had me at 42-ish. So it just imagine me being 13 and just put 2 and 2 together. Like she's pretty old. So not trying to comfort her or nothing, but just saying like so y'all could get a better understanding of what's going on. I live in a house with my brother, my older brother, my mom, and my daughter. My brother makes situations super stressful. Like, you guys know, I don't even know what I want to call him. We're going to call him Teddy Bear, because everybody who sees the pictures of him but don't know his actual personality thinks he's a teddy bear. So Teddy is like always in my ear, always nagging me, always stressing me out, always putting me down. Well, I remember when I first had my daughter, he used to tell me, like, because in postpartum, like, hormones are crazy. If you know, you know. So a lot of the time, mind you, my daughter ripped me, so a lot of the time he'd tell me like I stink, or he'd tell me, like, he'd put me down, like, oh, I don't want you breastfeeding around me, like, if you hear me come into the room, don't I don't care if you are covering up with something, like, don't be breastfeeding around me. You know, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, but never encouraging me. So, like, me dealing with depression kind of like drove me into like dating. So I lost motivation and also got in a lot of in-school suspension. Like, with all those classes and all the homework, and if you know, you know, like, if you don't do that homework, you're going to fall behind. I'm still trying to figure out how to be a mom. I started talking to somebody at the school. It's a picture of me in high school. I fell in love all over again. I don't know if he heard about me having a kid ahead of time, but I ended up telling him. We kept it on the low because we didn't want everyone to, like, know, of course. So part of the reason why I don't like being put in a private kind of, you know, I don't want to be no one's secret. One night he came over, did some things, okay? So we did some things, and I'm thinking that he's not going to be, I'm thinking that we're locked in, friend. I'm thinking we locked in twin. I'm thinking we are all the way locked in with each other. I'm thinking that, you know, he done already told me he loved me. He done already told me this. He done already told me that. You know how it is for, like, a young girl. I was just feeling so, like, lost and abandoned already. If you know the situation with my baby dad, I felt lost and abandoned already. So I was just already lost and abandoned. And he was giving me all the attention, all the love, and always checking on me, always making sure I'm good, always texting me. But yeah, that's another picture of me. And do I look the same or do I look different? I could know what I was looking like, thinking that we was locked in. So I ended up telling my best friend at the time what, like, who I'm dating, and, you know, I'm asleep in class and I'm like, girl, I'm just so in love, da 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 da. And I told her, like, listen, I got a boyfriend. She like, who is it? And I told her who it was, and I told her, you know, all the intimate details, which I wish I wouldn't have. If you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. I told her everything about a relationship. I told her even down to the size of the sausage, y'all. I told her everything. I'll go to sleep after this in class. And y'all, the sad part about it is that I was falling asleep this time in class because I was up all night with the guy who I was telling her about. Back to video. We in math class. I can remember this part because this is the beginning of the hurt. So I fell asleep. I got my head down on the desk. I noticed that I've been asleep for a minute. So I'm stirring, but I'm stirring in my mind before I move. So I'm not even moving, but, like, my mind is like, girl, it's almost time to go to the next period. So you might want to, it's about 10 minutes till. I open my ears first, and my ears are saying, yeah, girl, she slept with da da da. I don't even remember his name, y'all. She got a daughter. Dropped to my booty cheeks. Yo, I felt my heart drop so low, and I didn't want to believe it, but she kept going on and on about it. And then that's when she was like, I was like, hey, I told you not to tell anyone about that, because, like, I didn't even, like, I woke up, let them know my presence, and then, like, they're both turning around smiling at me. When I went to sleep, y'all, the girl was not there. Her cousin was not there. So when I woke up, I was surprised, like, who are you? I wasn't really smiling at her, Vincent, because you know who you are, and you know your name starts with a V. Anyways, telling her cousin, like, hey, yeah, by the way, she's dating this person. They done did this and that. You know, she also got a kid, which I wasn't really trying to tell the whole school that, because I ain't gonna lie, I got more love than enough in middle school. It wasn't as many haters as what y'all thought, especially because, like, I went to, like, a more better neighborhood kind of school back then, but I knew what I was getting myself into when I went to Mifflin, because my brother kind of tried to prepare me. You know that? I tell her, like, listen, I told you not to tell nobody. why would you say something? It's like, oh, she not gonna say nothing. That's my cousin. Introductions at this point, like Mia, me. She like, oh, Mia, me, cousin. She like, oh, Mia, meet cousin. So I'm like, okay, cousin met. So I'm like, okay, so, I got in school suspension quite a bit, y'all. But not as much as after my stuff went viral in the school. So basically, everything was cool. After lunch though, I kind of felt like everyone was treating me a little bit different. Everyone was giving me like kind of like stares. But like I just brushed it off like as if it was nothing. Next day I come back to school, everyone's staring at me now. Everyone's staring at me now. Everyone's giving me weird looks. Even the 12th graders, the 11th graders, they're looking at me and I'm like, there's no way. So there's like a whole bunch of 10th graders and 9th graders waiting for me by my locker. When I get to my locker, and can I hit that too? Can I hit that too? I mean, yeah, Mia, what you got going on? I see you got, they telling me I got DSL and everything else. So it was so embarrassing. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I'm looking through the crowd to see if I could see my best friend at the time. She's off in the corner talking to the more popular kids. And I'm like, mind you, this is all new. She usually only just hang with me. She used to be on my top in the morning and everything, but she didn't say nothing to me. So I'm like, oh, she must have said something. And you know how some kids at school, they all call each other cousin, like, oh, this is my cousin. So at that point, I feel like I was lied to. And I still don't know to this day if they were actually cousins or not. This is when I started skipping class because I didn't want to even show my face in class. And I didn't like it. I didn't like how everyone knew my business. So I didn't want to. I instantly fell like deeper into depression though. So I would just spend my time in the bathroom, or I would just spend my time like walking around the hallways. I had a couple of friends, but most of my friends were like bookheads. Like they were teachers' pets, so they were most likely in class. So I was most likely like alone in the hallway just walking around until like the security guard told me to go back to class. I'd probably come to class a little late. I remember one time I came in late and I got in school suspension. I actually didn't like in school suspension at first, but then I ended up liking it because I'm like, I don't even have to be around all these kids if I go to in-school suspension. And it was like in like a blocked off area and everything. I loved in-school suspension. And then that's where I met my new best friend. He was gay and he used to do these bantu knots in my hair, y'all. He used to do these bantu knots in my hair. He used to have my hair looking cute. It was funny. It was cute though. I saw my brother's sweater one day at school and was wearing it. My hand is shaking talking about this story. This was how he used to have my hair looking. If you don't see, y'all all think this is hair dye. This is not hair dye. My hair was always like this, but I just didn't like my own picture. It actually dyed so it could stay that color instead of turning back. But I feel like she told the whole school for clout. I honestly feel like it was for clout because she didn't talk to me no more. Then all of a sudden she was hanging around all the cool kids. So yeah, I low-key wanted to fight after that, but I'd never been in a fight at that point of my life. So I really was just looking like, I don't even know how to go about even getting in a fight. And the girl was so tiny. She was so much smaller than me. So I'm like, I didn't even want to do it. But somebody else ended up getting to her before I did. So praise the Lord for that. I didn't have to do anything. And they yanked all her braids out. Mind you, her hair was tiny. Her hair was real tiny. So when she put in box braids and stuff, it was yanking out easily. And they took out half her head. And they got it all on camera. So you can only imagine how like I was like grinning at the camera, grinning at the phone when I was watching the video, y'all. Anyways, I found a few other friends. They were all teachers' pets. But I like how the teachers' pets wouldn't judge me more than like the kids who weren't the teachers' pets. Some kids would judge me. The cool kids would call me names. They try to sleep with me, other stuff, etc., etc. But the teachers' pets was so nice. So and it pushed me further to want to become like that too. But I just had lost my oomph. And I was already depressed. So my depression got worse and I ended up getting a counselor. This counselor was such a bad counselor. So she ended up, we were talking one day and my mom, bro, she's she's wonderful. I told her I was going through depression, and I told her like, hey mom, I really want my nails done. I've really been going through it lately, so can I please get my nails done? Tell me why. She went ahead and scheduled me a booking at the nail salon, and even though she was on a budget, she made sure I got my nails done. She made sure that I even got a few gems. She couldn't pay for all the gems, which is why I do nails now, because them charging an arm and a leg for gems that cost like $2 for a whole pack on Sheen, I feel like that's crazy. Like some gems over some designs, which is should be a part of the service. But I digress. Love the color burgundy at this point in time in my life. So I went in burgundy, but they turned out more brown to burgundy. And then I got matte on it, which was even more stupid of me. I should have just kept it glossy. When I showed her my nails, she was like, oh, they're all right. You know you're going to have to get them done every 2 weeks if you want to start getting your nails done. You don't just go out and get your nails done. You don't just do this. You don't just do that. And now you're causing your mom even more heartache. And now you're doing this and you're doing this wrong. And how you going to take care of your daughter with them long nails? And they weren't even that long. Like, they're about like that. About like that. Maybe I'm negative about me getting my nails done. She know I've been going through depression. And she hasn't really been helping at this point. So then after that day, I just made the decision that I didn't want to see her anymore. And she was like, basically like saying like, you need me. So I'm like, well, listen, next time you come over here, I'm not going to talk to you. And she just told me that I was going to feel differently. Okay. We move. It was still guys hitting on me. It was still guys making jokes. And my new bestie started skipping school too. I'm gonna call him Paradise. I actually seen him recently, and I wanted to tell him to get off the streets, but I didn't have the heart. But if you watching this, please get off and change your life around and give your life to Jesus, because you'll never regret it. But yeah, guys were hitting on me, making jokes. My new bestie, yeah, so we're gonna call him Paradise. So Paradise was like low-key trying to help me through the whole thing, but him skipping school and me skipping school, and so much going on between our lives and how we lived it so differently. You know, I'm a single mom with a kid. He's a up and coming, I want to be a girl. So it was just a lot. So it kind of pushed us apart just a little bit. But he always told me like, don't let these just tell you nothing. Like, don't let these ninjas tell you nothing. You know, you popping, you got it going on. You're actually a really pretty girl. And I didn't know I was pretty back then. That's the crazy part, because not even my mom would tell me. But you know, my mom, you know, she battles with her own things, so she tried to help me out as much as she could, you know what I'm saying? So, but moms sometimes fall short, you know, give them grace. So basically that is what is happening at this point. So I'm still getting in-school suspension. And then I talked to the guy who I'm supposedly dating at this point, right? Y'all, he came over one more time after school to hang out with me and stuff like that. And then the next day I seen him in the library. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm screaming his name like, hey, you know, I'm trying to catch up with him like how we normally do, you know, especially when no one's looking. No one was in there but just us. But I was calling his name and he acted like he didn't hear me. I'm guessing it got out, or it got back to him, that I said something about us, and he ended up switching schools, long story short. So that's how that ended. I never seen him again after that. I actually wouldn't even have known if I see him again after that, because I don't even remember really what he looked like. All I remember is his hair and that he was light skinned. But I like light skins with curly hair, so that's really my type, but it just never worked out. I felt alone and abandoned. I felt like he just gave me all his love and took it away. So love bombed me. Is that what it is? But it took a minute. It was like he waited until like everything got out, and then he even switched schools and everything. That sucked so bad for me, because I had to stay there through all that, through all the drama, the rest of the drama. I lost motivation for school and seeked self-harm. I even skipped school as often as I could. And I was low-key seeking a man's love, but I didn't trust him at that point because I'm like, they just gonna leave anyway. Something in every single situation is a temporary one. Which I can admit I kind of still need healing from. But yeah, you need to seek the love of Jesus. You need to seek the love of the Lord because it surpasses all understanding, all kinds of human love, period. You cannot even compare it to the love of God. His love is so faithful, so enduring. No height nor depth can separate you from the love of God. Amen. And I'm gonna leave that scripture on the screen. But so you know the wages of sin is death. Okay, so not even sin can separate you. I mean, you could be separated because that's how we got separated in the first place. But that's why Jesus came, is to remove that separation that Adam and Eve have caused by the first sin, by them committing the first sin of disobedience to God. All right, moving on. Stealing. I was stealing from Kroger's. If y'all know Kroger's, then y'all know Kroger's. I know some of y'all states don't got Kroger's, but I was stealing from Kroger's allegedly, and it went wrong. And this is also why I was also trying to sell Avon. So just have mercy on me because I'm only 15 at this point. Kroger's would not hire me. And I had a lot of homework at the time, so I couldn't even work anyway if I wanted to. And a 2-year-old. So it was a lot on me at that time, and also struggling and battling with depression too as well. So Kroger's wouldn't hire me. And at that point, I think Kroger's actually started at 16, not 15. So I just turned 15 that year. So I was literally like, I was just trying to figure out life. I wanted to make money, so I started trying to sell Avon. Nobody would buy it. Nobody would buy Avon, especially because it was like an up and coming brand of Bath and Body Works at that point. So nobody really wanted Avon. Everyone was on Bath and Body Works heavy. And I remember Victoria's Secret, their line was like very popping at that point. So I lost motivation for school, seek self-harm. So I was like doing a bit of, I don't even want to, doing a little bit of, you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to do too much on this video because I don't want y'all to report me. So that was about it. And my counselor came back the next week, y'all. And the counselor chased me around the school. This is a crazy deranged counselor. Like, and I know this story does not sound true, and it does not sound like actually like it happened, but it did. She chased me around the school. She was like, you're going to talk to me, like trying to force me to talk to her. I would hide out in the bathroom. She came in the bathroom. I went upstairs. I'm literally like climbing stairs trying to run away from her. I even went in a 12th grade classroom and I was like, can y'all please get me away from this lady? When I was running, bro, it just felt like I was just filled with so much panic, and I wish I wouldn't have came to school that day. And when I was running, it felt like I was running away from like trauma. Like felt like I was just running away from like all the hurt and all the pain, and how I just was just running. I could not stop running. So I was just running. I ran up the stairs, ran down the stairs. A guy who interests me, he was trying to talk to me. People in the hallway were trying to talk to me like, hey, what's going on? You know, what's up? I kept running. I just kept running. Mind you, this school, I kept trying to hide. Like, why do you keep following me? I feel like she's so weird because like, why did you keep following me? Why didn't you just be like, okay, well, we're scheduled for next week. I understand that you're not in the like in a headspace to talk right now. I will contact your mom or something to let you know, like, let her know how you're feeling. I will also contact her to schedule a rescheduled date. Why are you chasing me around the school? Like, I understand, like, I'm hurt and I'm in pain right now, but like, why are you chasing me around the school? It's not even about me anymore. It's about you and your issues and your problems. Like, why are you being weird? Anyways, so I ran into a security guard and I'm begging him, like, please, please get me away from this lady. Don't let her catch up to me. She's so mean. She's so rude. Help me. I'm basically asking him for help, and he lends me a hand. He tells the lady, like, listen, she don't want to talk right now. You need to reschedule. You need to, not at this point, not even be her counselor anymore. Like, are you okay in the head? Like, why are you chasing her around the school? I break down and cried, and it was another, like, something else that happened right before I ended up leaving this school. And another girl that I used to be in a foster home with was trying to also fight me at this time, and was telling everybody around the school that she beat me up already, even though we never fought, and I never been in a fight at this point in my life. So, and that's another story for another time. So that's when I break down to this security guard. He tells the lady, you need to get on. You need to go to your next appointment. This is over right now. You're causing too much distraction in the school, and I don't want her to be panicking anymore. So he basically pulled me aside, asked me why am I running from her after she leaves, of course, and he's trying to understand me. And what am I, what are you doing or whatever? So I basically break down. I tell him everything. I'm trying to get him to understand, like, I'm a single mom. It hurts coming to school. I get bullied here, and I really be thinking like, I be thinking like thoughts or whatever. So he understood. He asked me, did I want to go home today or not? I said no. I don't want to go home. I don't want to keep living like this, and I need help. I know you guys are going to call me a cop-out, but I was 15. I was 15, guys. So y'all can only imagine where my mind was. And basically, he said, that's fine. I'll call someone who I think can help you. I ended up in OSU hospital for people who are mentally, or on watch. So I ended up there. I actually enjoyed it because the other people were going through exactly what I was going through, and it was a whole bunch of other teenagers that were there that were just like me. Just like me. And it's the first time I ever got to be real or be like transparent or, with my peer. Since I've gotten moved from my middle school, that's the first time. And shout out Selena, because I'm gonna leave her actual real name, because girl, I know that was my best friend through middle school. My mom still remember her to this day, and she's a wonderful best friend. Like, I remember having that kickback and inviting her to the kickback when I got out of the group home. But you guys are going to hear about that after this story. So I stayed there for about a month. I was getting to the point where I was comfortable again. I got to see my daughter every single weekend, twice a weekend, sometimes 3 times a week. So it was working out. After the first 2 weeks, though, they had to make sure I was okay to see her before they could actually start bringing her in that much. I remember the first time I seen her again after 2 weeks, or was it one? No, it had to be 2 weeks. So I seen little me walking and running up to me. At this point, she's 2.5. And I seen little me. Like, it was so out of body. Like, it was like I seen me running up to me instead of her. And still to this day, she looks so much like me that I sometimes see me in her. Or I remember one night I got off of work and she's knocking on my window trying to get me to wake up, because sometimes when I pull up in the driveway, I just fall asleep in the car. Y'all, she looked just like me. I thought it was me waking me up. Like, it's so surreal. But after my time here, they asked me, do you want to go home or not? I'm still recovering, so I say no. But I say, I don't want to go to a foster home. I don't want to go to a group home. Y'all. So yeah, mind y'all, I agreed to go. This is how I found out I was going to a group home, and they tricked me. They made it look like some type of like vacational, like college preparation school. When I found out I was going to a group home was when it took like 2 hours for the ambulance to transport me, right? And at the end of the 2 hours, because like I'm trying to sleep away the whole car ride, and I'm like, this is taking a while to get there. They're like, yeah, you're going to Bell Fountain, Ohio. And I'm like, huh? Mind y'all, I'm not from there. So I'm like, Bell Fountain? I'm like, why am I so far away? I didn't know they were taking me that far away. Yo, I thought they were taking me like down the street somewhere. So, or at least 30 minutes at most, right? I'm like, why am I going to Bell Fountain, Ohio? What kind of facility is this? I have more questions now. And the guy driving the ambulance goes on to tell me, you're going to a group home. I instantly start crying and begging them to take me back because I did not know. And is there any way I could get myself out of this? Because I've heard the horror stories, especially as a past or previous foster child. You hear the horror stories of being in a group home and you think it's the worst thing imaginable. Y'all, I don't want to go to a foster home. I don't want to go to a group home. So guess where I went? It was this agency called Ariel. And it was a group home. They made it seem like on the flyer, they had this pretty little flyer saying, oh, it's for mental health and you guys are going to get to go on field trips. You're going to get to go to Cedar Point. They go on outings every single weekend, which is true, but like not how they explained it in the flyer. The flyer made it seem like they go on, they do heck of stuff. Like they go rock climbing, they go this, they do that, they do that, they do that. But y'all, it wasn't really none of that for real. It wasn't really none of that for real. Like it wasn't really none of that for real. So we went to Cedar Point once. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty fun. But I spent the whole like, when did I get out? I want to say like the end of November. So I went in March, didn't get out no March. The end of March. I went the end of March. Because I got taken out of school the end of February. So I spent a month there. Then at the end of March, I stayed at the group home from then until the end of November. So I spent a pretty little penny up in there. I didn't know it was a group home. But apparently they shipped me off to a group home. And I will finish this story in part 2. This is just how I got tricked into going into a group home. Then I'm going to tell you guys about how the group home was in the next video. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching until the end. Thank you for staying tuned for all the drama and all the chaos that happened. It was a long time coming. And I do shout out to my mom for sticking with me and me sticking with her, because we both have our own things that we need to work on, and we both were so patient with each other. So I love you, Mom, and I love you so much, Keisha. I'm glad that we stuck like this now. We locked in twin, and that's literally my twin. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much. I'll be back real soon with another bang banger, and it's only gonna go and get more drama filled from here. So buckle your seatbelts, y'all. I love you guys so much. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and get my watch hours up.